What's going on, everybody? First off, I'd like to apologize for the quality of this video. Loading it directly from a webcam. Right now I'm working on getting the old video camera back up and running so that we can put out better quality videos and more videos on a frequent basis. I know it has been a while since we've done videos on a frequent basis, but I'd like to get my thoughts out there a little more often. So here we go. First things first, I'd like to clarify a few points from our last video, mainly Sting. I know that we were very harsh on Sting last time and it came across kind of rough, but I need people to understand that I don't hold a guy like Sting and a guy like Scott Hall on the same level. Scott Hall is a piece of trash. I don't respect him as a wrestler or as a human being. He's there for his own selfish reasons. And I believe Sting is not. I believe Sting is probably well off financially. He has a very strong family life, I would imagine. And he's doing this strictly out of the love for the business and his desire to want to help TNA. And I understand that and I respect that immensely. I respect all the sacrifices this guy has made to entertain me as a wrestling fan. But the reason I am so upset with a guy like Sting, and maybe not so much Sting, but the guys who are booking Sting, and because you're booking Sting for the world title when he would admit himself that he is past his prime, when he would admit himself that he's only a few matches or a year away from retiring. He's been saying that the last few years. So if he's a year away from retiring, admits that he's past his prime, why is he competing for the top prize in the industry? Why is he competing for the World Heavyweight Championship? Because the World Heavyweight Championship is reserved for the very top talent, the highest level talent in the industry. And that's something that needs to be brought back. And by putting a guy like Sting in the main event over and over and over and over again, it just hurts the credibility of your title. And that's my opinion. Same thing with the band. The band being the World Tag Team Champions is a smack in the face to all the wrestling fans around the world. And the reason it is because you're putting them over guys like Beer Money, like Motor City, like Generation Me, I believe that's the name of the tag team, the Young Bucks. You know, clearly they're not the best, but yet you want to try to promote them as the best, and it's just an insult to our intelligence because we see right through that crap. We know that at that age they're not going to be able to compete with the top guys in this industry today, the young up and coming talent. So that's really where my main frustration comes from. But what I am here to talk about is a company that doesn't insult your intelligence, a company that will showcase the best athletes in the world on a high level and promote them almost like the UFC, like mixed martial arts. They take their business very seriously. If a veteran goes to this company, they have to step their game up to a level that they've never been or they haven't been in a very long time. And the company I am talking about is Ring of Honor. And I am begging you guys, I am pleading with anybody who's watched our videos in the past or that is new to watching our videos to give Ring of Honor an opportunity on June 19th, Saturday, June 19th, on internet pay-per-view. They are having a show called Death Before Dishonor 8, and it originates from Toronto, Canada, and you can order it by going to gofightlive.tv. This card, in my opinion, is the most stacked card that Ring of Honor has done this year from top to bottom. Not all the participants have been announced, and maybe not all the matches have been announced, but from what they have right now, this is the best card on paper that I have seen from them all year, and that is saying something because they have, in my opinion, the matches of the year already for all of the companies around the world. Let me run down the card and talk about some of the talent maybe that some of you are not familiar with, but I just can't stress enough. If you're tired of having your intelligence insulted when you watch WWE or TNA, if you're tired of the veterans overtaking the spots that belong to the future talent of this industry, if you're tired of seeing the future talent of this industry not being able to go out there and perform at a level you know they can, but don't because they're held back because they can't have the best match on the card, I'm telling you, Ring of Honor is the best professional wrestling in the world today, the most stacked talent roster in the world today. All of the things that you're frustrated with in regards to WWE and TNA, Ring of Honor makes up for it tenfold. Let me go over the card a little bit. One of the first matches they're going to do is a Toronto Gauntlet. There's going to be 6 guys, I believe. The first guy is Colt Cabana. He used to wrestle in the WWE for a brief period of time. Highly entertaining. Actually a very good wrestler. I think that he does joke around a lot, but that's just a part of his personality. But a very good wrestler, and can move very well for his size. Eddie Edwards, the Ring of Honor World Television Champion, one half of the American Wolves tag team, one of the best tag teams in the world today. Eddie Edwards has improved leaps and bounds over the past couple of years. He's the World Television Champion. He had a great match with Davey Richards this year on ROH on HDNet. Definitely check that out if you haven't seen it already. Steve Corino, a veteran, of course, formerly in ECW back in the day. You know, I personally don't care for Steve Corino too much, but he is where he needs to be, and that is in a 6-man match. He's going to be able to showcase, get his spots in, and be done. Roderick Strong, incredibly talented performer. Used to wrestle in TNA back in the early days on a pretty regular basis, but definitely a future world champion. He's definitely grown on the mic, and he's actually, in my opinion, actually one of the better heels in Ring of Honor right now. 2 other guys that have not been announced yet. So those 4 guys right there, I can tell you, will have a good match. But then when you add 2 more into the mix, it's going to be a great, I imagine it will be the opener of the show, but it's going to be fantastic. And I believe a future title shot will be up for grabs in this match. I'm not too sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Austin Aries versus Delirious. Austin Aries is the best heel in Ring of Honor today, and I believe one of the best heels in the industry today. This guy is a fantastic performer, an amazing heel, very charismatic. He really does have that it factor that so many wrestlers and so many fans talk about. In my opinion, definitely a top guy in the future, and he's already a 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion, and he's the only 2-time Ring of Honor World Champion. That's how important the Ring of Honor World title is. No one's held that belt more than twice, and that's Austin Aries, who's the only guy to hold it twice. Delirious, crazy gimmick. I'm surprised it's really over. The fans really get behind it. But very talented performer, once again a high flyer, brings a variety of styles to the ring. Those 2 should have a really, really good match. And like I said, it's just like this from top to bottom. This card is stacked. Christopher Daniels versus Kenny Omega. I'm really looking forward to this. Kenny Omega has a cheesy gimmick, but he is a top quality performer that's went out there and he's had tremendous matches with Davey Richards. And believe me, Davey Richards, I'll get to him in a little bit, but Kenny Omega is a very talented young guy, and once again, another high flyer that can do a bunch of crazy things in that ring. And of course, Christopher Daniels. Everybody knows Christopher Daniels from TNA, veteran of the business. But this Christopher Daniels that you'll see on Ring of Honor is different from what you've seen in TNA in the past. And the reason I say that is because the Christopher Daniels from TNA was generally called when they needed to have a guy take a big bump off the Ultimate X, or if they needed a guy to take a big bump off the Pterodon, or if they needed a guy to do a crazy dive off the 6 Sides of Steel. Christopher Daniels is the one they called to do that. They used him for spots and spots only, just like they used the X Division pretty much in general. This Christopher Daniels is Christopher Daniels, the wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in the entire world. These 2 had the potential to have a match of the year. It's going to be incredible, and it's for a Pick 6 contender spot also. Or actually, I don't know if they're both in the Pick 6. Whatever. Kevin Steen and El Generico. Steen is a complete psycho. I never knew that he could be this sadistic of a heel. I do believe he's also one of the top heels in Ring of Honor right now. I never knew he was that talented on the mic, but over the last 6 months, you've really got to see Steen and Generico build their feud slowly. And so now finally they're going to be in the ring one-on-one. And it's going to be another tremendous match. There's going to be a lot of emotion. The crowd's going to be hot for this match because it's been building for so long. For those of you who are not familiar with Kevin Steen and El Generico, they are former Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. They've teamed in Ring of Honor, PWG, all over the world.